Episode 81, What If Bus?
No, buses are for poor people, and poor people should be shot. I don't know.
I like how you said that with a questioning inflection.
Forced into debt.
Poor people should be shot? Question mark?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
I do
know.
to poor people every day. True story.
Do I look like the legislature?
Hi, my name is Legislature Dunstan, and I am here to shoot you for being poor.
Well, realistically, just force you into massive amounts of debt, and then force you into homelessness, where you don't count as a real person, according to the legislature and the county health department, and then your health can rapidly decline.
Awesome. On that happy note, welcome to the internet, live from my apartment in fabulous downtown Salt Lake City and the 42nd floor of the Bank and Loan Building in lovely, charming Avalon. This is the Red Line Podcast. I'm your host, quote, wishing I could bust a Logan Dunstan, and these are my co-hosts.
Kyle, quote, touch of silk, Holland, and...
Alex, quote, lots of Minecraft references lately, unquote, Fielder. Today we're talking all about intercity transit in Utah, or rather, the lack thereof. How do we bridge the gaps between cities with affordable transit solutions in such a large state and when is this going to happen? All this after the news.
Yeah, if y'all can't tell what we're doing with our free time these days,
Yeah, no idea. Instead of editing the podcast, I simply play Minecraft.
that's a better use of your time, honestly. We
I
are...
wish.
The TRLP actually stands for the Really Lame Podcast.
I don't know about that, but I do think we have the most popular Minecraft server for a public transit podcast in the state of Utah.
I think that's true.
So I think we can take that title.
We can be something to be proud of.
Yeah.
So, the news.
Do.
2023 was a big year for Canada's Via Rail, with more than 4 million riders choosing the train service in that year. Although it still hasn't quite hit 2019 levels, ridership is growing steadily, having increased by almost 25% since 2022. Amtrak may still be America's best intercity rail, but Via is gunning hard for second, especially as new rolling stock and an ambitious new service plan hit the public. Ride the train.
Ambition in an inner-city rail provider?
I mean,
What country is this?
Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Anywhere except here.
not true. Amtrak's also being ambitious recently. Probably because
Oh?
they hired Andy Byford. That's the real reason everything is going so well there all of a sudden, Andy Byford.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So, this has been the news.
Do.
Do.
I'll sample in like the cat meow sound effect right there.
I prefer you sample in...
Duck quacking.
No.
Why do you
I
say
like Alex's
no?
cat more than your duck.
The listeners are going
Okay.
to be so confused when they can't hear that.
I'll just edit it in.
You don't even edit the podcast.
I said you edit it in.
No. I don't want
Yes,
to.
you will, or I will commit horrible crimes. Okay. That was not amusing for Kyle, apparently. All right.
No,
Great...
it really wasn't that good. You've made better threats before.
That is true.
Shut up.
Utah has, relatively speaking, fairly good urban transit. In places like Cache Valley and Greater Park City, there's decent bus service that will get you most places. It's even free. Even in smaller areas like St. George or Cedar City, there's still some bus service available. And, of course, there's the great...
Some is generous.
No, it's not generous. It exists.
Technically, yes.
It's not like the Walmart shuttle or anything. My favorite. We need to dedicate an entire... Oh, hey guys, are you free next weekend? Not next week. Let's see. Yeah, are you free next weekend or the weekend after next?
Probably.
I
You
don't.
gonna go to You want to go to Rexburg and ride the Walmart shuttle?
Oh,
Not really. Thanks for offering, though.
It'd be a great
Rexburg's
video.
pretty
Come
far.
on. Oh, it's only like 3
Miss
hours.
miles in transit.
It's only like 3 hours.
If I'm not
Only.
working,
It's
I'd
a
be
day
down.
trip.
Or at least take the CVTD to Preston.
Sure. We should.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to be miles in transit. Anyway,
Don't we all? Don't we all?
there's also the granddaddy of them all, UTA, which carries close to 1 million people during a busy week. There's bus service, light rail, a streetcar, and even a commuter rail line that connects close to 80% of the state's population. But outside these urban enclaves, there's a real lack of reliable ways to get around for people without a car. And even more distressingly,
And turns out we live in a big state
huge, huge,
where there's like places and they're far apart.
bigly huge. It is in
And
fact
guess what? We live next to other states too that also have places in them.
shocking.
What a concept.
Not everything is between Ogden and Provo,
I mean,
Utah.
A good
If
chunk
you-
of it.
if you extended like
good chunk of
if
it.
you extended between like Logan and Provo, then everything is between Logan and Provo. However, more distressingly though, there isn't really a good way to get between the various metropolitan areas via public transportation. Between Park City and Salt Lake City, which are extremely economically interconnected, there are only 7 round trips a day.
That's a very cute way of saying one is a commuting suburb of the other.
Yes, Salt Lake City is a commuting suburb of Park City. You think I'm kidding, but a lot of people
feels
in
like
like
it. Ski days.
a lot of people in like West Valley City or the West Side do actually commute to Park City. I've seen it happen. I've got on the 107, and a whole bunch of people that just got off the 509 get on there. So
All right then.
it's a thing. There's also the St. George Shuttle, which is a theoretical and rather opaque service that runs between St. George and Salt Lake, as well as a few other places. But, you know, maybe the most glaring sort of service gap is between Logan and Salt Lake Metro, which are close enough together that I personally know people who commute between them, but there is not a single usable bus connection, as Alex is, I'm sure, extremely aware.
Oh, I am.
What do you
all
mean?
too
The Salt
aware.
Lake Express is only $40 and runs never.
And they cram you like sardines.
Yeah, into a van instead of a bus.
Oh my goodness. Bus services that don't even have real buses, don't get me started.
It's because God hates Logan.
Well, if I,
I
wanted to sit in
would
a van,
agree
there's
with
cheaper
that.
ways to do that.
Yeah, because unlike Salt Lake City, the Logan grid was not created by God, and therefore,
I don't know. It's God's second favorite grid, probably.
I would
Probably,
say
yeah, we've got
Provo.
worse.
Provo is God's second favorite grid, then Logan, then Ogden,
Yeah,
and everyone
Then the
else is going
avenues.
to hell.
I can live with that.
Oh, the avenues, that's true.
No, that one, I'm kidding. That one is like 1,000%
That's part of the
God
Plat of
approved.
Zion, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I should say, in theory, as everybody kind of mentioned, there is a bus connection between Salt Lake and Logan. However, it is the Salt Lake Express. Now, you might be wondering, dear listener, what is the Salt Lake Express?
It's our premier intercity bus service across the state.
I would not use the term premier.
Hey,
I wouldn't
everything
use the
is
term
relative.
service.
Everything is relative.
No, and sort of contrary to popular perceptions, it actually goes a lot of places. Like most of Montana's only intercity bus service is also Salt Lake Express.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like Utah and surrounding states.
Basically,
And they
if
do
you
run a lot of service.
if you want to get between Salt Lake City International Airport and anywhere in the surrounding states,
Oh, bloody
That is
hell.
probably possible. Via Salt
Yeah,
Lake
and they've got a
Express.
few routes. They've got a few routes, especially the St. George one, that are actually pretty compelling in terms of price and travel times. But most of their routes, not as much.
How often does the St. George route run?
I don't know. I'm busy looking at the Logan route.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, to see the $42 like once a day or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was during commuting hours, it could be helpful.
$49.
Oh, they've raised their prices. This is Joe Biden's America.
Yeah, I think it's...
So it does...
I think they've got a coupon for students that makes it cheaper for your first ride. And then that's it.
Oh, okay. They do have, get this, 5 trips a day to Logan.
Is anyone riding these trips?
Unclear.
Like, I just can't see the use case where anyone is actually...
At that price?
$49 to $50 to get from downtown to Logan?
Well, and keep in mind, that's $50 subsidized by
Right.
UDOT.
Like, I don't know. It would
UDOT
cost me less to
subsidizes
drive.
this?
Yeah, Utah subsidizes
Oh, yeah.
Salt Lake Express, which is based out of Rexburg, Idaho. Isn't that weird?
They also run the Walmart shuttle in Rexburg, Idaho, which is
They
my
do.
favorite public transportation
fair.
system because it's the best public transit in Idaho.
That
But-
might be true.
The St. George route is actually only 2 trips,
Well, but you can also get the St. George shuttle if it actually exists.
which runs, I think, like 5 or something.
5 trips a day.
It exists. You just have to make phone calls to get critical information about riding it.
Right, and it's in a van and no one uses it.
Oh, I didn't know. Wait, it's what?
It's a
I
van.
thought they had buses. Do they
They
not
have
buses?
buses, but I think those are only for charter service because they showed their executive shuttle and it was a van.
I'm sick and tired of bus services that don't actually run buses.
Right. Well, and I
Like
think
hell,
it's quite
even a
expensive
minibus.
as well. So,
It's the title St. George route is not bad.
how much is it?
Bloody hell.
Kyle's the looking stuff up guy today.
Apparently, lol, it's run by Salt Lake Express. Wait,
Oh my-
no, this is the St. George Express, not the St. George Shuttle. There we go. Sorry, the Salt Lake Express is a front website. I think that is intended to compete with the St. George Shuttle on terms of people mistyping their search queries.
Oh, very smart.
You can for the St. Oh my God, I forgot about the pickup drop off on the St. George Shuttle. You can leave from the Salt Lake City Airport, obviously, because that's the center of the city, or Midvale on 72nd South.
Wait, is it at Fort Union?
It's not at Fort Union. It's just like on the other side of Cottonwood Street, so it's like quarter mile down the street for no good reason. At like a gas station or something.
Oh, of course. Because you couldn't stop at the place with the bus loop or anything.
And bloody hell. Alright, St. George Shuttle. Oh yeah, I was right. They run 5 trips a day.
And how much does it
For
cost?
$70 each way.
Oh my... Oh.
Wait, so that's $70 St. George to where?
To Salt Lake.
To
Okay,
Midvale,
but-
Fort Union.
Compared to the Logan route, that's a good deal.
That's true.
Yeah, because this one's 300 miles.
Yeah.
The trouble being that I think that there's a subsidized flight route between Salt Lake and Cedar City that's only like $120, and that takes like
Oh,
30
boy.
minutes. So,
Yeah, especially given the bus leaves from the damn airport.
yeah. So,
So that
I
makes
don't know.
fare 23 cents a mile, which means you're realistically only using this service if you're traveling alone. If you've got like at least one other person, you're probably
Or an
splitting
object
the car
slightly
ride.
too large for the bus.
Oh, the St. George Shuttle's actually pretty generous with cargo. They'll even let you take bikes for like an extra $10.
I was thinking like a couch, but sure.
Well,
Move with the
we're
Salt
trying
Lake
to attract
Express.
recreational users, not people trying to move.
Hey, they could be like taking it to a person's house to sell it to them. I don't know.
Interesting
But
theory.
anyways, the point of this whole thing is to say that these services are very janky, not particularly useful, completely uncohesive, and basically can only get you from the airport to other places. Would you guys say that that is correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I'll add that the price points that they're able to meet, even with subsidies, are only really appealing to solo travelers that don't have extra money,
Pretty much.
which is not a huge it's not a huge subset of inner city travelers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Salt Lake Express, and that's one problem I have with this study that they have. It's just, I don't know. I don't think we should be relying on Utah intercity travel from an Idaho company.
So, what could we be doing instead of relying on that?
See, that's a good question. Maybe fund something similar to what Colorado does.
Ooh, which
Ooh.
is
Mustang.
Mustang. It's like a bus Mustang, get it? Because it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I went to the bathroom.
Oh, I was wondering. It was awful quiet around here.
Yeah.
No. So, Alex, like, what does this UDOT study actually recommend here?
So, from what I've looked at, not very much. It seems to be pretty vague, and it's all just suggestions. They're kind of like hinting towards stuff, but for being a big study, there's really not many concrete answers. It's more like, this is stuff we should look into more, and here's other suggestions that we could do. But it seems to be mostly reliant on the intercity transit providers we currently have, and especially on Salt Lake Express.
Because they're doing such a great job already.
Yeah, which is my biggest problem, is that we should be funding something more like Mustang, rather than relying on an Idaho company to take Utahns other places. And the fact it's even an issue to get from Cache Valley to the Wasatch Front is appalling.
I think what it shows is that Salt Lake Express is targeting this like very, very small subgroup of inner city travelers, which, like I said earlier, is solo travelers who don't have extra money and are making not commute type trips. They're making like multi-day recreational trips, or like go visit family or whatever type trips. Like Salt Lake Express can't appeal to commuters or people just making day trips. Too expensive, too infrequent. They can't appeal to people who are traveling more than just alone because it's too damn expensive. They can't compete with people who have money to spend because it's too slow. So they just have such a small target market with the service that they offer right now that they're not ever realistically going to be able to cover routes like Salt Lake to Logan. Like if I'm going to Logan, 90% chance says I'm just making a day trip. And the Salt Lake Express schedule and prices are crap for me.
Are terrible for day trips, right? Like, I feel like I would pay, like, I don't know, to get from like Ogden Frontrunner to Logan. I think $10 would not be unreasonable, but like,
Yeah.
Sure.
$50,
Well,
wild.
the tough part is they're literally incentivized not to drop you off in Ogden. They want to take you all the way to the airport, because if everyone could just go to Ogden, I think most people would, so they could hop on Frontrunner or get into downtown.
And stop giving Salt Lake Express their money.
Exactly.
Well, because their business model only wants to take you to the airport. Like, they don't want to be an intercity bus provider. They want to be an airport shuttle.
Well, and that's why the price
Because
is so high.
that makes a lot more money.
They're the only people who are doing this route, and because you're going to an airport, you're going to have the money to be able to afford the Salt Lake Express.
Pretty much.
And you're going to be further disincentivized from driving because airport physics or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to pay
I
$1
just
billion
checked.
to park at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then there's like, because Salt Lake Express connects to Logan and connects pretty much the U to USU, you have a lot of professors, students, people that you can kind of scalp for money because there's no better alternative, which
People
is
who
kind
are
of sad.
desperate because they don't have a car or their car is broken or they don't have money to fix the car or whatever.
Exactly. But it's kind of, it's tough because I don't even want to start to imagine how much insurance costs for Salt Lake Express. Because I imagine that's where most of their cost comes from. I still think they're making a pretty penny off of, especially the Logan to Salt Lake, well, the Logan to airport route. But I just think paying companies to do this rather than spending that money for the Utah Transit Authority to take over intercity bus service is kind of, it feels like a waste of money, and it feels like you get a lot less bang for your buck.
Alex, are you calling
Yeah.
for the UTA to become a statewide authority that provides transportation to all parts of the state?
What a
Interesting.
crazy concept.
Like,
With their already large bus operations and maintenance base.
wow,
Yeah.
and they're already paid for massive insurance expenses that they could use to defray. Interesting.
And their excessively large fleet of coach buses that they're not
That
using
they're never
anymore
using,
because they cut all
right.
the routes that use coach
Yeah,
buses.
the really nice MCIs.
Yeah, imagine taking one of those suckers from Ogden to Logan. Or-
Good
Another
goodness. That'd be
another
nice.
big
Provo to like
problem.
San Pete.
See, that'd be crazy. I know one problem we have for like not getting a Salt Lake, well, a UTA bus up to Logan is, I don't think the state UTA agency can compete with private business. I think there's a law against that in Utah,
Which is dumb.
which is
Because
yeah. Well, because it would be, it would be two different clientele. One would be an express to the airport. The other would be just connecting to the two networks together. It kind of makes sense, but I don't know if they really care about all of the equity stuff they outlined in the study.
you're not
They-
allowed to
they
say that
really
word
should.
anymore.
Pardon?
You're not allowed to say equity anymore. It's against the law now.
Yeah. In Utah or just
Oh, right. I forgot
nationwide?
about
In
that.
Utah. In Utah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, DEI. Or exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Yeah.
Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Yeah, you can't say that.
All right, that's a good point. Maybe access. Some vague thing we can use instead. But if they really care about the access, the statewide access, then this is something we should really try and push for change towards.
So what you're saying
Gee
is
whiz,
we need to
being able to go
copy.
places.
We need to copy Colorado and their Bustang system, which is a high-quality, high-coverage bus service run by the Colorado Department of Transportation since 2015. I've included for my co-hosts a helpful map.
Mm-hmm.
And you will notice,
There's lots of stuff on the map.
I suggest you all look this up because it is a big map. There are a lot of routes and it kind of goes everywhere.
It covers the entire state.
Shocking. I know.
Weird.
Um,
Get
This-
places.
Wild. The system started with just 3 routes, but has expanded to cover the state with many different lines, including some that are shockingly frequent. Between Denver and Grand Junction, for example, which are a long ways apart, let's be clear, there are
Yes.
5 trips a day. Between Denver and Fort Collins, as well as Colorado Springs, there are 8 trips a day, and most other routes
Wow.
run at least daily. So I kind of want to take the train to Grunction and then get the bus to Denver.
That would be funny, yeah.
You could. It's I think the most scenic part of the Amtrak would be covered by the Mustang, but you definitely could.
That is one of the things you could do, yes.
And here's the kind of shocking thing. Before the pandemic, Mustang carried almost 250,000 riders per year and made something like 40% of its revenue from fares. So this is
Whew,
like
that is really good for a bus service.
high performing public transportation right here.
Dude, it's hard to find rail services that can make back that much, but a bus?
Except Bart.
Yeah, except BART. But you've seen BART fares, so.
That's true. They are freaking expensive, man. So, it's also a way to actually get around. It doesn't just take you to the Denver airport.
It's integrated with the transportation system.
Right. Shocking. I know. Like, the main hub of the system is Denver Union Station, where you can connect with the state's
Wow.
largest public transportation provider.
And it
And
services
there's
really small towns. Like,
It
way
does.
smaller than Logan. You can see Montrose, Colorado on the map.
Montrose, Colorado is like, what, 5,000?
Let me check. I know it's a lot smaller than Logan. Montrose, Colorado is 5,800 feet tall, but is a population
Oh,
of
20,000.
20,000.
I mean, there's some much smaller towns than that on there as well.
Yeah, Olathe
Yeah.
and Delta, Ridgeway, they're all very small. And the fact it's small, it services Telluride as well. That's kind of like the Park City of Colorado.
Well, and you see on the right of this little map here, there's a little inset that says seasonal services, which is like a statewide ski transportation network.
Imagine not living right next to the ski hill.
I know. Shh. Couldn't be us because unlike Denver, we're an actual mountain city. Got 'em.
Why is the only town in bold Brush, Colorado? I don't know if
I
I
don't know.
understand why that's in bold, but yeah, it's an impressive map and it's an impressive service, and I'm sure it makes the lives of the people of Colorado better.
The citizens of the great state of Colorado have a bus that befits their dignity, and some of this will be getting replaced by the Front Range service once they actually introduce that. But still,
Oh, is that the new rail they're working on?
uh-huh.
Does it have a track or does it run on the freight
It
track?
runs on up.
Oh,
Our good
I
friends
wish
up.
them luck.
So, I mean, yeah. The other thing I want to say is this is probably like really good for tourism. Like, if you have people coming in
definitely.
from overseas who want to visit a small town, they're not necessarily going to want to drive because you don't do that so much in like Europe or Asia or whatever.
And because
so
if
if you
you're
can get like
visiting,
a
you
bus,
need to get a rental, and those are expensive.
right? If you can get a bus instead, like, wouldn't that make you more likely to go to Grunction or I don't know, Tower
Yeah.
Hill?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And the fact it's one service provider too, it just gives you the consistency to know what to do where you want to go. It doesn't change for each region.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
This
they
is true.
actually
And they've got, like-
have good stops, unlike Salt Lake Express.
Oh, almost certainly, since it's run by the DOT,
Yeah.
which owns everything. And and also I've seen they have this integrated on Transit app, and presumably every single other app under the sun, because that's how that works. So you have a familiar way to see when the buses are, like you can with the RTD trains and the RTD buses.
Which
You can,
may or may not exist.
Plan
to be
your
clear.
transit trip. What, the RTD trains?
Yes.
They're not
Given that,
busy
like,
tracking. If they're not busy
three-quarter-
crashing.
3/4 of their light rail is running on like half-hour frequencies now. So,
Bloody fuck.
because they're just a failed state transit system. But that's besides the point. So,
But anyways, it comes with the comforts of like an actual transit system built for transportation.
I am shocked and appalled. But yeah. So we should do that. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree. We
Yeah.
should make the two systems kiss in Grunction. So we can go to
Now,
Denver
kiss.
by bus.
Oh, yeah, because I really would prefer to do that over taking the train, which goes the same route. And soon there will be 3 of them per day. So instead of 1.
Okay, well if it's 3 of them per day, then just take the train. I was mostly going to suggest that as a alternate hours option.
Yeah, I mean, one of them will go through Cheyenne, but under the Amtrak Connects Us plan, there should be like 3 trains Salt Lake to Denver. So,
Cool.
that's all I got. Anybody else have anything to say?
You mentioned Utah Rail Link.
Oh, that was just
that
a
Mike's
question
plan?
mark. Mike's plan. Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
okay.
also like put trains to more parts of the state. Like that's also possible. Like
Yeah.
cough
As
cough.
discussed at yeah.
What episode?
As
is that?
discussed at the I don't remember. It's on the website. As discussed at the meeting we went to at UCA Frontlines about the Amtrak corridor funding. Remember that one?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, as discussed in that meeting, we would need a state-run bus system, or UTA as a statewide agency, better yet, run bus system to complement a rail spine, as opposed to a private
Shocking.
company that would try and fail to compete with it.
So the California model, basically, because Amtrak California has like just a crap ton of buses that connect you to like the San Joaquins and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, being from out here, I've never been on an Amtrak throughway bus. I've only heard the rumors.
There's one in Idaho, but it takes you from Boise to like, where is it? Sandpoint that the train stops. So like, you have to go north all the way to Sandpoint to get on the train. So I'm not sure like what the use case is for that, but maybe if you're going to Seattle. Anyway.
Maybe.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and to follow and leave us a rating on iTunes and or Spotify. If you like what we do here, you can become a member on Patreon. Patrons receive early access to all of our regular content, as well as exclusive episodes and occasional merch drops. Speaking of patrons, let me pull up the page. At Bustang But Better tier, we have Zach Adams, $69.69 per month. At
Frontlines, if it actually had a track tier.
True. Front Range, I think you mean.
Sorry, Front Range. My bad.
We have Generic GT. At regular Bustang tier, we have Curtis Herring, Devin Zander, McKay Ransom, Mike Christensen, Phobos2390, and Tony Stunts.
At Utah Rail Link tier, $5 a month, we have Brian Smith, Christopher Whaley, DJ
Hi, Will.
Hi, Will.
Watkins, Elijah Kensler, G4, Jacob Whitecotton, Jesse Mayo, Reluctant LA Resident, and Robert P. Walsh.
UTA as a statewide agency using their excess coach bus fleet to run blindingly obvious intercity routes tier, $3 a month. We have Alex Dykelski, Alice MYOB, Ben Busath, Bradley Bondi, Ethan McDonald, Evelyn, Gavin Grotegut, Gonzo12, Jack McCoskey, Martine Hecker-Martinez, Oliver, Sam Myers, Seth Skylikowski, and Zach Christot.
At Greenline tier, we have Benjamin Wood, Joshua S. Horvath, and Capil. I didn't have anything clever to say for that one.
Thank you all for listening. Go ride a bus if you can find one.
Unless you live in Colorado, in which case don't, because Colorado sucks.
What? Do any of the Bustang buses actually leave state boundaries?
I don't think so.
That would be a cool feature. Then you could leave Colorado.
They at least
Yeah, I think
get
that
you
they
out
should
of
just have a
Denver.
big shuttle between, like, Denver and Salt Lake City, and it runs like every 2 seconds to help the population of Colorado flee.
We should just have a Schweeb that goes from Salt Lake to Junction.
That's such a good
Schweeb
idea.
base tunnel.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't need a base tunnel. Schweebs can climb.
Schweeb base tunnel to
True.
Logan.
Yes.
I would die.
Yes. No, it takes you over
On
the
it?
mountains, and then you just ride down like a zip line. It's very convenient. It's personal rapid transit, basically.
I'm not sure I want to know. It literally is. I'm not sure I would want to know how fast a Schweeb would go downhill because it's on a track and it's got that arrow bubble.
Terminal velocity.
Yeah, but how high is that?
You're pulling 5 Gs as you pull out of the turn.
It'd probably be like those mountain coasters.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you
probably.
could do like
Except
180.
more aerodynamic.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
180 downhill
Because like
on
the
a
land
Schweeb.
speed records people set and bikes of that same shape on solid ground with no track.
So you have to have like
And no
really
downhill?
really strong like high speed rail wide curves for the thing to be able to go through the mountains as it's going like 100 200 miles an hour.
This is a terrible idea.
This is a
In
great
plastic
idea.
bubble.
This sounds fun. I want to do this.
I think more Mustang would be a better idea.
Why not both?
¿Por qué no los dos, Kyle? Okay, well, that was a fine episode. Next week's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, with Classy
I'm gonna be
Wow.
hyper prepared.